Ubisoft has been facing some massive problems with their 2024 and going into 2025 slate of games, and now we're hearing a rumor circulating that they intentionally pushed Yasuke in Shadows to tank the company's stock price so Tencent could take over. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, there has been a rumor circulating that it was seemingly confirmed by a Ubisoft spokesperson that yes, the company was considering a buyout with the Guillemot family in Tencent, and then they would be taken private. Now, it would not shock me at all whatsoever that that would happen, but it would be even more disappointing because while Ubisoft right now is making a lot of bad decisions, and they're just creating a lot of bad content. If Tencent takes over, it's going to be completely over for Ubisoft. Games are going to be monetized really poorly, like mobile games. We're going to see them pumping out even worse, lower quality products. Like, unfortunately, Tencent is not a good company, and they are a behemoth. They have their claws dug into so many companies, and what they do is they only invest a little bit in larger companies like Ubisoft, for example, so that they can get around regulators, but we know that they most certainly are affecting the way that games are created, and Tencent has, of course, 10% stake, so they've always been there for years. At this point, they've been around Ubisoft, but it just seems like maybe they wanted more. A new rumor alleges that Ubisoft intentionally promoted Yasuke in Shadows so that the company's stock price would tank and allow Tencent to more easily take over the company. Endymion shared that an alleged insider shared with him that Ubisoft was using the implementation of this character into their game to steer the public reception of not only Shadows, but Ubisoft as a company in general towards a scenario that would actually lead to a buyout. Now, this is a major conspiracy, and we do not know who exactly this insider is, so take everything with a grain of salt, right? But there are a few different rumors that have been circulating that Endymion put out to the public, and they have come true, like the buyout rumors. That is all but confirmed, though he explained, as I was told, Tencent allegedly was a big pusher of Yasuke becoming the main character in Shadows. Ubisoft, of course, was considering the idea, but Tencent was really the ones that pushed that vision into reality, and allegedly, Yasuke was pushed because Tencent knew the inclusion of his character as the leading man in the Japanese Assassin's Creed game would raise many eyebrows and cause public outcry, which, yes, is exactly what happened, and the discussion surrounding the game has not died down for good reason. As I'm told, decisions like implementing Yasuke, which would lead to many boycotting the game, was something pushed by Tencent investors to purposefully tank Ubisoft in order to weaken the company towards an acquisition, effectively leading to Ubisoft as known becoming far weaker, worth far less than it should be, and placing itself plump and ready for Tencent to waltz in and swallow the entire company whole and obtain them. Now, yes, it has been many years since Tencent initially invested in Ubisoft. They currently have a 10% stake, so they've been there for years, but it seems that now they might just want more. Now, of course, with Assassin's Creed Shadows, Yasuke has been a very controversial addition to the cast of characters simply because he is not just a character, but a historical figure. But instead of trying to accurately represent the real living human being in this game, they decided to basically put a fan fiction version of him into it, which hasn't sat well with people. They have always put historical figures in these games and in situations that are not real and have had fantasy elements, but the way they've represented those people have been very accurate until now. It could be pure negligence, and they simply did a terrible job hiring people, and those individuals didn't do their due diligence, or maybe those people genuinely don't care. Maybe all along they wanted to push a specific concept, so they, found a historian who would back up the angle that they wanted to push, which happens to be, Yasuke, the first black samurai, even though he was more of a retainer and not a full-blown samurai. That is what the historical evidence points to. Now, of course, it's not even just Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows that is a problem with Ubisoft right now, but all their recent games. I mean, maybe Yasuke was just the straw that broke the camel's back, but we had Skull and Bones at the beginning of the year, which was a quadruple A failure. Right now, the word on the street is that they spent $650 to $850 million for development. I personally don't believe it was that high. I think maybe it was like 300 to 350. That seems more realistic, but extremely high, though that was a complete flop for them. And around that time, you had people at the company saying, oh, we could charge you more than $70 for this high quality experience, and that blew up in their faces. Then X Defiant came out years after it was originally supposed to, and it just wasn't a game that really stuck with people. It has kind of fallen off the map. The competitive scene never picked up. I mean, they just kind of mishandled that game in totality. And then we had Star Wars Outlaws, which is yikes for them because they admitted they spent the most amount of money they ever have on marketing a game with Star Wars Outlaws because, of course, it's Disney, right? So they think brand recognition, Star Wars, tons of people are going to show up and buy it. But that absolutely failed. It sold 1 million copies, where the games that have come out over the past few years, like Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, sold 15 million copies in totality. So it couldn't even reach half of that from what we understand. And then Assassin's Creed Shadows was supposed to come out at the end of the year, and now it's not. They've decided to delay it into 2025, and I do genuinely believe that the people at Tencent would do something like this, right? I do genuinely believe that they would sabotage projects in order to swoop in and kind of save the day and buy out companies, right? Because Tencent is very scummy, and this is the type of thing they do. They do not outright buy companies, they invest a little, and then they invest a little. And then when a company's about to go under because of bad decisions that they probably, helped push, they go, oh, well, we'll give you the money. We'll do it. We'll take this whole entire bad situation off your hands. I do not like Tencent. I do not trust Tencent, and you should not either. And this does seem like something that would happen. Now, again, yes, this is just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, though it is something that I personally would tend to agree with. I do genuinely think that there would be a plot within the company for this to happen, and it's just all playing out now. So we'll see what happens over the next few months, but their stocks are at an all-time low. All of their projects are failing. They're kind of in chaos internally, and they're losing vice presidents of IPs like Rainbow Six. So things are not going well for them, and they're going to have to act fast if they want to try to save the company. And well, it sounds like a buyout maybe happening in the very near future. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.